And then once you buy one, you can't stop. Like very, very risky. You'll probably lose your money. So.
All right. Well, we are here with a good buddy of mine, Mike. I want to let you introduce yourself. Where are you from? What is it you do? And obviously, we're talking about crypto and NFTs today.
Yeah. My name is Mike Harry. I obviously live not with you, but here as well in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. And my background is in e-commerce, digital marketing, and more recently, I've gotten into the NFT craze. And that's what leads us here for today, I guess.
That's nuts. Yeah, Mike lives not too far from me here in Puerto Rico, a couple miles that way. And it's been cool to watch you get into that and see you go from, just knowing a bit about it to studying 10, 12 hours a day, diving into a space, which seems like so many people are jumping into it, right? It seems a little all over the place. There might not be a lot of good directions for people to get into it. So today I wanted to go through, have you explain kind of how you got into it, what information you're taking in, what stuff you're buying, and then, of course, the juicy stuff, how much money you're making. So if we could go through some of that, I wanted to first transition kind of what got you into it, because you were doing well with your other stuff as well, and obviously slowly transitioned out of that. What led to NFTs and crypto in general becoming a main thing that you do?
Yeah, so, I mean, I saw it as basically that it kept coming up more and more on my radar. More often. Obviously, there was a big Beeple sale for $69 million early this year, and that was one of the first things that came onto my radar with NFTs. I think that was what brought NFTs onto a lot of people's radar. So that, and then I just kept seeing more and more about it, and that was when I started looking deeper into it. And eventually I bought I went through to figure out, watched some videos on how to actually do the transactions, where to shop, what to buy, all that. I definitely was influenced by Alex Becker. So my first
good old Becker.
Yeah, my first purchase was a Doge Pound NFT, which was something he was shilling. So, and I mean they've gone to do quite well. So
you made money on that.
I did. I flipped it way too early. If I would have held it, I would have been up a lot more than I made off of it. But it was one of those things where I started buying them. My strategy at first was based on finding underpriced NFTs in a collection based on rarity traits. So like I was showing you before we jumped on camera, the different rarities and trait types that come in the different collections.
Yeah.
I was shopping around there's a site called Rarity.tools, and it'll allow you to look at collections and break them down by their rarity. So it'll give an overall rarity score to every piece in the collection. Normally, for a lot of collections, there's 10,000 NFTs in a lot of the collections.
Seems like a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And that's one of the challenges with NFTs is that there is a lot, and they vary based on the rarity. So there's these sites like Rarity.tools that will rank them from 1 to 10,000 in order of rarity based on what traits they have. So, and another piece, just a side tangent, is the volume for sales happens mostly at the edges, at the floor, which is like the cheapest price stuff,
okay.
And then the real top tier rare stuff. So like the top 1% rarity. So typically like really the top 100 in a 10,000
all that other
collection.
Stuff it's kind of getting drowned out a little bit in the middle.
It's hard, yeah. So there's just not as much. There's not as many people buying in the middle. So I avoid the middle now. That was one of the mistakes I made earlier, was I'd find, something maybe middle of the pack or maybe more towards the front. But as you get to that real like 1% rarity, the prices go up a lot. So
like double, triple,
I mean
10.
Like probably like 10x or more, depending on how rare you're talking. If you're talking like the number one rarest piece in a collection, at least 10x the floor typically. Wow. You're looking at.
So wide price range there.
Very wide, very wide. And the thing is, a lot of people don't shop on that real high end, so you're buying, your buyers for when you're looking to sell are a lot more limited. And that middle of the boat area, the middle category of rankings it's just hard. There's not as many people shopping there. They're harder to sell. So what happens is if you buy something there and you decide you want to get out, a lot of times you have to get out at the floor bottom prices. So you get kind of screwed.
So
by
volume can become an issue in some of those.
Major. So
Interesting.
a lot of people refer to them as illiquid JPEGs. So that is a real concern.
I've got some JPEGs on my laptop, but they're a different kind. They're normal and screenshots and whatnot.
Hey, you could turn them into an NFT.
Really?
So if you own the rights, I guess.
Oh, I took it, right?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting concept, just to back it up, digital versus physical. I feel like a lot of people on the older side of the age category have difficulty understanding that. And even me, I'm 21, and I sit there and I'm like, kind of trying to wrap my head around it, like, wait a minute, when it first starts blowing up, I'm like, who would spend, what is it, 63 million on a digital piece of art? But as I look into it more, just like social media, if social media didn't exist, not as many people would see your your car, your house, whatever it is that you're showing. And so there's that arguability that it's actually more out there and your art is more on display when it's digital. And just like how there's really high quality fake art pieces and you have to go get it appraised and verified and authenticated, online you can trace that back really fast and it's real, it's verified. So I feel like there's not as much difficulty, and it actually arguably makes more sense to buy the digital side of things. I'm not saying I'm going to buy any. We'll see what happens by the end of this, but
see if I can convince you by the end of this.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll talk. But I'm always down to make some money. But yeah, so let's go from that point. You started learning a lot about it, understanding it, seeing it. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about it. What was the very first thing you bought?
The first NFT I bought was a Doge Pound piece that I got in on that because Becker swore they were going up. And I was like, I felt the FOMO, and I'm like, I can't miss out. I've been looking at NFTs, I've been diving in. It's time for me to pull the trigger, So that seemed like a good first purchase. And then once you buy one, you can't stop. I think over the next few days, I bought, 7 more, different NFTs. I was just shopping around different collections, trying to shop based on different rarity traits and things like that. And then I talked to our buddy Damien, and I was like, "Hey Damien, check out these NFTs I bought," And he goes, "Oh, that's cool." He goes, "You got to be careful though, because most of these collections end up going down to zero, or or the buyers just leave, so that you face that liquidity problem where there just aren't buyers. Sometimes people just lose interest, especially with so many projects launching lately." The interest quickly moves from project to project to project. So a project that was hot and pumping for a while, all of a sudden everybody loses interest. The buyers, go away, and there's a liquidity problem when you're trying to sell.
So something that was worth 10 grand might now still be worth 10 grand, but there's nobody willing to pay it. So it's actually worth zero, and you can't get out of it, or you're sitting on it for a long time trying to find someone.
Yeah, exactly. So and then depending on the project, you'll see that if there's a liquidity issue where there aren't buyers coming in, depending on the faith and diamond-handedness of the holders of that collection.
Like your shirt.
Exactly. So depending on that, you'll see either the people holding strong at their prices, or you'll see people start undercutting each other because they start freaking out and realizing, oh shit, I just bought this JPEG for $5,000 and I might not be able to, I thought I'd be able to sell it for $10,000 and it's not looking that way, and now the floor price is $4,000, and so they'll come in and start undercutting each other to be the cheapest one to try to dump it off real quick. So you see these floors drop as people undercut each other.
And that's usually in like an hour, a day, a week. How quickly, because I know it's obviously so much hype behind this. And social media just amplifies that. Elon Musk sends out a tweet and boom, Dogecoin goes ballistic. And I actually did buy a little bit of Dogecoin, the actual, crypto back in the day. Made a little bit of money. But, man, it seems a little scary to me how fast it moves. And the difficulty of even understanding how to buy and sell some of these things. Like, I got stuck with multiple cryptos that I had bought. Like, it was a nightmare. to even get out of it. So does it ever worry you how fast this moves? How many pieces do you hold right now?
I'm not sure. Like maybe I think over 150 now.
Whew, that's a lot. Does it ever worry you that you might not be able to get out of one, or are you pretty selective? You're confident in that? You don't really care?
It depends what it is. So I've got some stuff that I have long-term faith in. And usually the stuff that I have longer-term faith in is things with some sort of significance. Historical significance is what I've started looking for, because you can't change history. And I think as we progress further with NFTs and blockchain technology, I think there's always going to be importance to some of the early stuff that helped to lay the footsteps and the stepping stones to what becomes. So I think these early collections are going to solidify themselves as solid investments over time. So the stuff that I'm holding, the older stuff, things like curio cards, mooncats, some of those older OG collections, even though they're literally from like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, that's longer than
yeah, like 2017. So some of these came out around the same time as CryptoPunks, which is one that a lot of people may have heard of. It's the pixelated faces.
Yeah.
And those were free when they launched. You just had to pay the transaction fee, the gas fee on Ethereum to mint them. And from what I heard, it took a long time for them to even sell out and get rid of them at free prices. And even up until, a year ago, they were selling for, I think, just hundreds of dollars. And now they're over $300,000.
Holy moly, that's the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, floor price over 300. No, I don't have any of those. Unfortunately, I was too late to those.
Okay, what's the largest value you have on one right now? What's the biggest?
Ooh, maybe one of the curio cards. They're changing a lot. The values are moving around a lot, but like one of the curios I had, I think was selling for at one point around 12 Ethereum, something like that. So times by $3,500 or so.
45,000, give or take.
Something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So something like that.
So you've got a couple cars in a JPEG.
Yeah. Yeah. Worth more than my Jeep.
Well, that's cool. But it makes you money. Yeah. You didn't buy it for that, did you?
For what?
For 45,000.
Oh, no. So
exactly.
yeah. Those ones have gone up. It was more. Now they've kind of rode down. I'm hoping they're gonna make another pump. You see them kind of these projects that last. That have longevity, like the CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, you tend to see them go in cycles where all of a sudden there will be a big run up, everybody FOMO's in, you see the prices run up over the course of 2 or 3 days or so, and then they cool off, and then you get the people who are panic selling and then they kind of run back down. A lot of times you'll see it over the course of 2-3 weeks or so, these periods where the price runs up and then it kind of slowly trends back down till enough people go, okay, these are cheap now. And then people start buying back in and then you see the next pump up and, they kind of go in cycles like that.
So you're almost looking at a chart.
Yeah.
You're almost like day trading, maybe not in a day cycle, but you're just swing trading NFTs.
Yeah, that's what a lot of it is. And a lot of these have started to move in, it seems like predictable ways, but I think it's too early to really say. Because, some of these staple projects like the Bored Apes were launched less than 6 months ago. And that's, one of probably like the number 2 staple to the CryptoPunks, I would say. And they're only 6 months old. So it's really too early to say for a lot of this stuff. But they do seem to have some cycles that they move in. And yeah, if you can, hold tight and not get scared when the prices move around a little bit, you can seem to ride those cycles.
Wow, that's nuts. And so just to kind of back it up a little bit for anybody watching who wants to get into crypto and NFTs as well, where do you even buy this stuff? I own no NFTs. I haven't attempted to buy any. I've played around with crypto. I've gotten burned where I was trying to sell something that was getting pumped. Didn't realize you should have to wrap it and do all this and that and send it over through 4 accounts that you couldn't set up when you live in the US. So you got to use a VPN. It's like just a nightmare of crap. And I end up offloading it to a friend for pennies on the dollar. So where would someone go to even look into this stuff?
Yeah. So the number 1 largest marketplace at the moment is called OpenSea. And
that's what you were showing me earlier.
Yeah, yep. OpenSea is the largest platform right now for trading NFTs, and it is mainly Ethereum NFTs that are on the Ethereum blockchain. There are a couple other chains on there, but by far the largest volume of trading is on OpenSea and on the Ethereum blockchain. So you need to have a wallet. Typically the most common one is a MetaMask wallet, and then you need to have Ethereum in your MetaMask wallet. So you can go on Binance or Coinbase or something like that, you buy your Ethereum, you transfer it out to your MetaMask wallet, which is just like a Chrome browser extension. It's just literally like an extension in your Chrome browser. And from there, that's how you make the purchases on OpenSea. And it's with OpenSea, it's no KYC, like know your client, so you don't have to provide any sort of documentation, nothing. So
we love crypto.
It's all decentralized for OpenSea. Yeah.
See, I'm a little bit hesitant with transferring out and doing stuff because I had a Trust wallet where I was holding a bunch of SafeMoon and all this other crap that was blowing up and doubled or tripled my $5,000 into 10 or 15, and I tried to send it out and I didn't know how to work it all, and so I put it into Bitcoin on there and tried to send it directly to my Coinbase, and that $10,000 just disappeared into thin air. Like, it's just gone. Like, this was like 4 months ago, 5 months ago. No update, it's gone.
Damn.
I kind of knew, like, when it didn't arrive, I didn't get the notification right away. I was like, it's gone.
I heard Coinbase just opened up phone support, so maybe it's time to get on the phone.
They're better than Facebook ads now.
Yeah. Although I haven't heard great things about the support so far.
Oh my gosh.
And they're actually, Coinbase is going to be launching, that's the big news lately in NFT land, is that Coinbase is launching an NFT platform.
Whoa.
So just like Coinbase has introduced a lot of people into crypto, that was the first, that was how I first bought crypto back in 2017. During that big run up, that was the first time I got in, and it was through Coinbase. And I think the same goes for a lot of people, and I think we're going to see Coinbase now introducing a lot of people to their first NFTs.
That'd be cool, being able to buy it on their platform, because their platform is really easy. It's simple, it's easy, setting it up is quick. That's cool. So would you mind showing us a little bit more about the Rarity side of things through OpenSea, which is what you were showing earlier, kind of what you're looking for. We can screen record so you guys can see it, but just to be able to get a better sense of what you're looking for and what the platform looks like. Because dude, even for me, you're talking to a complete novice. Like when you're showing me that, I'm like, no way, look at this. And I didn't know stuff was randomly generated. I thought people were making each one. And so it's just crazy to me to see all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It's recording now.
All right.
On my screen?
Yeah, we're on there.
Okay. All right, so
this is that main trading platform.
So this is OpenSea. So we're on OpenSea right now, and we're looking at a collection called the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is probably the second most popular collection next to CryptoPunks and second most expensive. So you can see that the floor price they list is 37.5 Ethereum. You can see there's 10,000 items in the collection. You can see that there's 5.6 thousand owners, and you can see there's been 184,000 of Ethereum volume traded. So
wait, floor price is 37.5. 37.5 times what?
3,500 or so.
It's 131,000.
Yeah,
for the cheapest, crappiest, worst card. that people still want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still membership to the club, So it still gets you membership to the club. So, but yeah, literally
Do you
the
get
cheapest,
to go on a yacht once a year? What does this club include?
Yeah, so they just rolled out their roadmap that does include some parties, and I think they were renting a yacht in Miami, and I think they're doing something during the same time as NFT NYC, which I'll be at in a couple weeks. Going with Damien and Token Frame, and you can see all these stats here. And another important thing to look at is the owner distribution. So you can see that there's 10,000 items and 5.6 thousand owners. So that means roughly every owner owns two of them, about, a little less.
Wow.
Than
Everybody's got a Ferrari in JPEG.
yeah,
That's
exactly
what it is.
Exactly. Your average Bored Ape holder is holding about 260,000
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
130 times two,
my God.
$260,000 worth of JPEGs in Bored Apes.
And so, just for my own knowledge, this might be a dumb question: is everything in there always for sale? Do you always have to have a price on it, or can you not list it? It's just you're holding it forever, or you can obviously reject offers if they come in. Is it always available to see what's there and what price?
Yeah, good question. So you do not have to have them for sale. That's actually a good thing to look at when you're looking into a collection to buy, is to see how many are listed for sale. So typically the less amount, say as a percentage of the total in the collection, because they're not all 10,000 collections, but say if this 10,000 collection has 5,000 listed for sale, that would be really high. That would show that people aren't really looking to hold this. They're looking to get rid of this thing.
So you'd be normally like 1,000, like maybe 10%?
So 10% is usually a pretty good number, I would say. Yeah, and what you'll see on a lot of them is about the 10 to 20% range listed for sale out of the collection. And that's typically, I would say, pretty normal and healthy. If you see above 20%, I would say that that's a little worrisome, that people are looking to dump them off and flip. And because of basic supply and demand, the more people that list, you're going to see prices, they start undercutting each other, and you're going to see prices start going down the more they get listed for sale. So that's a good metric to pay attention to, and even to track over time, is how many people are listing for sale.
That's a great value point. And in terms of like the rarity things you're looking for, can you show us a little bit about the individual images and like how stuff's randomly generated, what you're looking for? Because you were almost trading like a subcategory niche of this, finding the lower price stuff that still is rare in certain regards that might have a little more upside than all that crap in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can see here on mobile, it displays a little bit different than desktop, but we can see these are, so some of the cheapest ones for sale are 37.5 Ethereum here. So what we can do is, I guess, for the random generation, what you can kind of notice as we go through them, scroll through, you can see that they're all very similar looking with slight trait differences. So this one has the brown hair, this one has the red hat, and it's got some stubble on the face, and it's got like a Fred Flintstone looking clothing on. They've got different fur colors. Some of them have different hats and earrings and different traits like that. And when you click on one of them, you can see, when you go in, the different traits that they have. You can
see OpenSea. Every podcast, you got to do a pun. I don't know if this is a podcast. We got a pretty professional setup going on, but
it's legit.
Got to hit you with the pun.
Legit. People have been calling it closed sea when they were going down because of so much traffic.
Really?
Yeah. They were having some issues because they were just getting hit with so much traffic. I got to show you there's some metrics that show the volume in OpenSea month over month, and it was cruising along, and then all of a sudden, once I think it was it August or September hit, just it like 10x'd from one month to the next.
Gosh.
And it's been crazy since then. So here in properties, you can see it's got a yellow background. 13% have that trait. You can see the clothes are Vietnam jacket. 2% have that trait. Eyes sad. 6% have that trait. So you can see these different.
You get all the metrics.
Yeah, all the metrics. Cool. You can see how many have that trait. So you can see if it's a rare trait or not. So you can see clothes Vietnam jacket 2%. Wow. And it depends on the collection how they distribute their rarity. So there might be a lot, if they have a ton of different clothing, 2% might not be that rare. And what you'll find is a lot of the middle of the pack stuff doesn't make a huge difference in price. A lot of times you've got to have that real rare trait, the clothing that's at the rarest of the rare list, or
like where,
very close.
100 of them have it, or like 10? Is there stuff that only like 2 have, 3 have?
Depends on how they set it up when they launch the collection, but yeah, so typically your rarest trait, whether that be say like the fur color or the clothing, whatever has the least amount, that's gonna fetch a pretty good premium. And a lot of times, even when you drop to the second rarest, there's a big drop off. So you say the rarest clothing type has 10 of them available, and then the second rarest has 15 of the next rarest, you're going to see a lot of times a big price drop just because it's second rarest and not number one rarest.
Gotcha.
So
That's nuts.
and then you can go in and you can see, typically you don't need to look at transfers, but you can see the price history too. So you can see this thing was sold for 0.45 Ethereum 5 months ago. And then it next changed hands for 0.69 Ethereum 4 months ago. And then for 0.9849 4 months ago. And
It's all very public. Everything is out there. You can see it, all the trade history. Everything.
Yes, that's what's great about this is you can see every transaction because of the blockchain. You can see every time it was sold, every time it was listed, anytime people update their prices. So sometimes you can see somebody's got some paper hands. They're trying to dump something off, and you'll go through and you look at the listings and you'll see, they dropped their price. They dropped their price 4 times today. So you can go, this guy's really trying to get rid of this thing, and you can come in and put offers in and stuff. So you can put offers in on stuff that you can see somebody's trying to dump.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's not so much room for necessarily like you can't message over OpenSea or anything like that. But some people will have, say, their Twitter profile or something like that in their collection information. So I've had people hit me up on Twitter being like, "Yo, you put in this offer on my thing," you know, trying to negotiate
and they know
stuff.
It's you?
Yeah, because I have my Twitter in my OpenSea profile.
Yeah, I got you. So you have your Twitter on there just so people can message you. And, like, is that purposeful?
Yeah. So for one, it is for negotiating where I've worked out deals over, Twitter where somebody will hit me up and they'll be like, "Yo, I saw you putting in these offers," or they'll see there was a collection I went through that didn't have a lot of sales happening on it, and I came through and I was like the only recent sales, and I bought up like 15 of these things. And so somebody came and hit me up. A couple guys actually came and hit me up. They're like, "Yo, I saw you sweeping through on this collection. Like, I got these other ones if you want to buy them," stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people hit me up either
That's
to
cool.
negotiate or to offer ones if they see me buying other ones or stuff like that.
Nice. So yeah, it's got some business sense. It's a good tip to throw your Twitter in there or your Instagram or something.
Yeah. And depending on what you're doing, it can be useful if you're, say, putting in a bunch of offers or you own a bunch of stuff from certain collections. It can get you eyeballs and lead people over to, say, your Twitter account or something like that.
Interesting. Now I've got to ask the question. One of the few big questions. What is this? Really shows how much of a degenerate you are. This can be gauged based on this question. How much have you spent in one day just on JPEGs?
Ooh.
I'm dying to know this answer. What's the most you've spent in one day just on NFTs?
That's hard to say. I'd have to go back and look at my trading history to know for sure, but probably like 50 grand maybe. When I was getting
pretty petty.
when I was buying deep into the curios, and it would have been more, but I was capped out at how much Coinbase would let me transfer out of Coinbase into my wallet. So I was trying to,
a good thing.
Yeah, I was trying to get in deep on the curio cards, and I was being capped out by how much Coinbase would let me transfer out of Coinbase into my MetaMask wallet to purchase. So I had to stagger them out. It took me longer than I wanted to, but
oh man,
yeah. So, but a lot of my stuff's been actually bought and held.
Okay.
A lot of it has been bought and held, and the thing with the illiquidity of these markets and the cycles that they go in is that sometimes you're just kind of stuck holding for a while if you don't want to dump things at, say, potentially a loss, or I'm looking for solid profits, like 2x plus on these
Solid
for most
doubles.
of these. Yeah, at least doubles on a lot of these. So
Okay.
typically with a lot of those, you're kind of just stuck waiting for the next run up, the next wave. So, and that's usually I'll exit some when there's a big run up that happens, something like that.
Gotcha. And so obviously it shows publicly if you list it for sale or something. Can people see that if you have it for sale and it doesn't sell? Does that hurt it and it doesn't look good? Is something like that? Because I know with real estate, if you put it up for sale and it doesn't sell, people use that as a negotiating tool. You
Sure.
take it down, you put it up later. It can be bad.
Sure. So I guess the one thing is that since there's typically not much contact that goes on between buyers and sellers through the platform, since there's no messaging through the platform, you don't really get those negotiations, but you can see it. Typically, what'll happen is, if you're seeing somebody dropping things, if there's interest, somebody will buy it. If not, they won't. But depending on the NFT and the collection, you may just have to bring yourself all the way down to the floor price to get a sale, because that's where the most volume and sales happen, are near that floor price. So if you're looking, that's the problem with these, is if you're trying to dump them off quick, it's not easy, or you may take a loss, or find yourself, might have some rarer trade, but you might find yourself selling at floor prices to get rid of it.
Jeez, that's nuts. All right, now the second big question, and you can be vague here if you want to share certain things. Can you give us any indication towards how much you've made in equity gain from these? I'm going to use the word equity, but total gain, and roughly a portfolio size estimate, or kind of, we want to know what you're holding and how big that is.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, a large part of my holdings are in curio cards, which are down from their highs. So that has definitely impacted it. But I think I started with around 80 grand or so into NFTs, and at the peak, when curios were at their peak, that's when I think it was around 500K that it went up to.
Nice.
Now it's probably more in the 3 to 4 range, but yeah, I mean, I think it is. Yeah, I think we're still at a solid 3x from where I started, what I've put into it.
And I want to point one thing out: your 300,000 gain is 300,000. There's no taxes. I just want to point that out. Whenever you decide to get rid of something and cash out or transfer into anything else, your 300,000 is your 300,000. There's a big difference there.
Yeah. So at least according to my CPA so far, that's. But we'll see. I've heard varying things on the forums and stuff. Some people are saying they might be treated at like other property, like buying a car and selling a car. So I don't know exactly yet. That's one of the things with NFTs, is they're so new. Regulation hasn't really figured it out yet.
You'll be fine for this year, but you're not selling anything, so you're not realizing a gain technically.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. On that next run up, I might realize something.
So that's nuts though. 80 into 500 at the peak. That's 420,000. Ironic number. I like it. Very crypto oriented.
Yeah, crypto loves.
Maybe that's our title.
69,420.
Mike made 420,000 in NFTs. With NFT. That's awesome. So where do you see not only yourself going inside of the crypto and NFT space, but where do you see the entire industry going? Is this going to become bigger than art in general, where people are spending $400 million on a painting? Where do you kind of see the entire space going? It's obviously so new, but I mean, you got Damien working on projects where it's it's literally a screen that you can put on your wall in a frame and have your NFTs cycle through. Like pictures of that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, that is very cool. Yeah, he's working on an awesome project for sure. And I'm excited to go with him to New York and display those at NFT NYC. But
yes.
So I mean, the space is moving so fast. It's really hard to keep up with. There's just so much going on. It started NFTs started with art. So art was the main first big thing that saw NFTs, came out of NFTs. So people were wondering if it was going to be mortgages, like are people going to start doing mortgages on the blockchain?
Whoa.
There's all these things that people are looking to tokenize and turn into token transactions on the blockchain, so that they, so that you can have those same things where you can look at and see the history, and this person owned it, then it transferred possession here for this price, and it's very cut and dry, and these are the facts. Wow. And so there's a lot of use cases coming for it, and people were, I think, wondering what the first big one was going to be, and it's definitely shown to be art. And the way that's evolving right now is turning into a lot of these collections, like the Bored Apes that I showed you, a lot of these 10,000 or so generative profile picture collections, they call them. And that's one of the big things behind it, is that a lot of people are using these as profile pictures. Like Steph Curry got a Bored Ape. You're seeing a bunch of celebrities now using these as their profile pictures on like Twitter.
They're displaying that they own it. And while obviously you can fake the profile picture part of it, but then people can verify. So.
Right. They can see, I can look and see what CryptoPunk that is, and I can go look on OpenSea and see who owns it.
Exactly. It's just like having a Ferrari in your profile picture. Well, someone can easily see if it's in your driveway. Same thing.
But it's a lot easier to
It's
go
even
check on
easier.
OpenSea, you know? Yeah, it's a lot easier to just go on OpenSea and look rather than trying to go drive by your house to see if you really got that Ferrari, you know?
Where is it at?
Go peeking in your garage, you know? So that's
man.
the thing is it's a lot easier to prove, and they're becoming online flexes, which, yeah, I mean, I think people you've got a lot bigger audience typically online than you have in your day-to-day life. No, you know, most people aren't going to see the art that you have hung up on your wall very often. But if it's your profile picture on Twitter, that's how people come to know, like these like NFT influencers and that they become known by their profile pictures. You know that you know that picture is that person.
That's just a crazy space. So to the point that we touched on towards the beginning, if I wanted to put some money into some NFT projects, relatively safe investment wise, don't need the craziest returns, what would you say is kind of a solid direction to take? Let's say I wanted to put, you know, $50,000 or $100,000 towards something, and, you know, scoop up a little bit of diversity, but something pretty solid. What would you say is a good starting point? What are some ideas?
So the stuff that is the least risky, I would say. First of all, the whole space is very risky. But
Good disclaimer.
Yeah, very risky. Tons of volatility.
Be careful.
Very, very risky. You'll probably lose your money. So
thank you for saying that. That's like most people won't say that.
Good chance you'll lose your money, but
50-50.
Yeah, just go to the casino. But no, really.
We're not far.
So the stuff that has I would say proven itself to be the least risky, even though we're so new, is going to be these. You know, they're being called blue chips, but that's still, I think, yet to be proven on a lot of them. But a couple so far would be the CryptoPunks and the Bored Apes. Yeah. Now, those are out of most people's price range, you know, at $300,000 for a punk and $130,000 plus for an ape.
Yeah.
Those are getting out of people's price range. I would say they're the least risky, but they're, you know, most people can't buy them. One of the big changes coming in the NFT space, though, is called fractionalization. So what you can do is you can get together with people that you may, or in most cases may not know, and you basically pool up your money to buy one of these or multiple of these, and you can own a piece of them, and you typically get like a token or something that represents your fractional ownership in that NFT that you can then sell later. So you could, you know, if you can't afford a whole CryptoPunk, you could get together with people and maybe you buy 10% of a CryptoPunk.
And could you trade your percentage?
Yeah, so they give you, I believe, I've never done this and I'm not deep into the fractionalization stuff, but the way I believe it works is that you get a token that represents your ownership. So say if you know, there's one CryptoPunk, they issue 100 tokens, specific tokens for Punk 6529 or whatever. And then you buy 1% worth, you get one token. And then if that punk goes up in value, you could then sell your token later to somebody else if you want to exit that position.
That's cool. I feel like that would just bring more volume to the space.
Yeah. So I think it's going to bring more volume, and it's going to allow those expensive projects to have buyers that, you know, have more buyers than would normally allow. Since there's not
and
many
the more
people
that it
can afford.
trades hands, the more attention it's going to get from people posting it and bringing attention to it, and new record-setting transactions, and just I think just more is better. Like, I almost see, and again, total novice here, but I did watch Bitcoin go from 500 to 1,000. I was buying them in twos, whole coins, when I didn't have a ton of money, but I could afford a full Bitcoin. $2,000, 2,500, sold them at like 5 and 6. But that was also 5-ish years ago. I saw how people were talking about it back then, like people are talking about NFTs now. So when I look at NFTs now, I can just, without a doubt, say, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if the punks are $1 million and the apes are at 700,000, and all these other, the curio cards and whatnot are 150K. Like, I would not be surprised. I think the space has room to just baseline 5x, 10x. I don't think that's unrealistic.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're seeing the exponential rise in it right now, and I think especially with more platforms like Coinbase bringing NFTs, FTX is another big platform that's launching an NFT platform. There's more chains that are launching NFTs. So Ethereum's the big dog right now, but Solana is catching up, which is another chain that's where I'm launching my collection on, is Solana. So it's kind of up and coming. There's lower fees. There's benefits to other chains. But yeah, so I mean, we're seeing adoption with celebrities. We're seeing more platforms that already have user bases that are now expanding into NFTs. TikTok is another one.
Yeah.
TikTok's launching NFTs. So I mean, they're going mainstream, and I think by the end of the year, nobody's not going to have heard of NFTs anymore.
Yeah, my parents were asking me about that. When I was like, you hear about this NFT buzz? And I'm like, yeah, you should talk to Mike, Might shoot him this video.
yeah, man. They're definitely they're definitely coming fast. It reminds me of like the 2017 Bitcoin craze.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what someone's opinion is. It's just simple marketing. With the amount of attention that's come into something, the more attention, the more money that follows. It's just as simple as that. Whether someone likes it or dislike it, they're talking about it. And I think that that's only beneficial for people holding the good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. It's getting that network effect.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to do a little update here in a couple months once you hit 1 million, and then 2 million, and 40 million, and then Mike's going to get a boat, and that's how we're going to spend our time in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
100-foot boat, parked over in Palmas. I was just down there eating lunch at the bay, like the port. Dude, there's some huge boats. You're next.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to get a Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Your own Bored Ape Yacht Club yacht.
Yeah, exactly. Once I can afford the Bored Ape, then we'll get a Bored Ape Yacht Club yacht. Then we'll put the Bored Ape on the side of it, and
then it's a write-off.
Yeah,
not that it matters.
Right off my 4%. Yeah.
Yeah, geez, man. Well, that's cool. Appreciate you coming on and giving a little bit of specifics on the topic that is definitely very misunderstood. There's a lot of information out there. And I know you were going to be starting up a YouTube channel talking about some stuff, so I will leave that linked below. And then you have your own project that you're going to be rolling out here soon, if you want to let people know about that.
Yeah, so it's called Pit Crew. The website is pitcrewnft.com. It's going to be a collection of 4,444 randomly generated pits on the Solana blockchain. They're going to be minting for $99 a piece in Solana, worth of Solana tokens. And with those, you're going to be automatically entered into a weekly raffle where we're going to be picking 51 winners every week. So there's going to be one grand prize winner and 50 other winners that get randomly drawn. So just by holding one of the pits, you can get drawn for that. And what you're going to be winning is a prize pool that comes from 15% of sales. So every NFT that gets sold, 15% of that is going to go into a raffle pool. And then at the end of each week, there's going to be prizes drawn. One person's going to win half of that pool, and then 50 people are going to get 1% of it each. So for a total of 100%. So just by holding an NFT, you get a chance to win that every single week.
So you could win it 30 times in a row.
Odds are you won't.
Yeah, you could.
But just by holding one, you have a 1 in 87 chance of winning every single week.
There's only 4,444.
Exactly, and you hold more, you have a better chance to win every week.
See, it's just fun. It's not like the scammy, spammy crypto crap where it's like this, that, and like it's someone can pull the rug. It's just like doing raffles and giveaways. I think it's like way more cool than just crypto, honestly.
Yeah, so that's I think that's one of the big reasons NFTs have exploded, is because they're so much more fun than trading shitcoins. like people love their shitcoins and their altcoins and they love the gains they can get there. And this is it's like the new thing, but it's way more fun, and you get this attachment too. Like you buy these NFTs, and you start to feel an attachment for your specific dog or whatever it is, and they're too much fun, and then you just can't stop. And that's, I think, why NFTs are exploding, is because once you get started, you can't stop.
You got to turn Marlo into an NFT.
He was the inspiration for the project.
No way.
Yeah, so actually the main for the most popular one that I'm creating is Marlo's brindle look, and Marlo was my inspiration for the project. So
that is awesome. You have to send me a picture so I can throw it up. People can see. That's so funny.
Yeah, definitely. So for anybody watching, get on the wait list at pitcrewnft.com, and when we launch, you'll get notified.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick some up. The easiest way is to buy them is through.
Yeah, so they're first going to be available to mint right off of our website, and you'll need a Phantom wallet and Solana tokens in the wallet to be able to purchase from the website, and then they'll go on to secondary market websites for secondary sales after all the initial ones are sold.
All right, well that is epic, dude. So yeah, we'll follow up here. I'm leaving for a couple months, but we will touch base early 2022 and see how the project's going, see where the portfolio's at. And maybe, I don't know, if this video gets, how about this? For every, is this reasonable? For every like that this video gets, I'll put $10 into an NFT. 1,000 likes, 10 grand goes in. 2,000, 20 grand goes in. That seems fair, right?
That's great, yeah.
Okay, maybe I will own a couple of cool NFTs, aside from your project, of course. Other ones that you can maybe help me select.
All right.
By the end of the year.
We'll help you pick them out. We'll get you a nice 100x. You know.
Oh my gosh. I'm good with
No,
that.
I'm just kidding. Well, we'll just try not to lose all your money. That's all.
Yeah, that's a better goal. That's great. I love it. At least we're being realistic. All right. Well, appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely touch base. You can definitely go ahead, connect with him down below. Put some information in the description. He's a good friend of mine. And with that being said, we're out of here. Later.
I like it.
Get you guys both one.
Yeah. Sell you one.
Did they just hit you up and you're like, yo, I've ordered some bulk shit from Alibaba once, like, all right, like, let me